Hi everybody, this is Russell Rucker. I just thought I'd take a moment to introduce my latest venture. This is a board game, Race for the White House. Well, when I was a kid, we played a lot of board games, and I was really into board games. And there are different kinds of games. There's basically war games. There's a game where you're just racing to the end of it. And one of the things that I always found unique was once in a while you come across an election game. This is Race for the White House, the game. Now, this is an historically accurate game. And the problem I've had with election games in the past is it locks you into a specific game. Landslide, for instance, I think it's 1972. There are different things that make it dated. And so what I've done with Race for the White House is I've created, instead of putting, this is the game board, by the way, and instead of putting the electoral votes on the game board, I've put them in the electoral history booklet. Which means you can choose any year you want, any scenario you want. You can play as if you're both, say you're both Democrats, you're both Republicans, in which case you have to go in a convention after a few hands and decide who wins your party's nomination. Or you can go on to even the House of Representatives if there's a tie. It's historically accurate. It is an incredible game. The tokens we have here are bust. This is Andrew Jackson, for instance, Democrat. For a Federalist, I've chosen Benjamin Franklin. Yes, he actually did run for political office. George Washington is in orange. William Henry Taft is the sole Republican. He is in red. Lincoln is yellow. Now, why do I say sole Republican? Because Lincoln is here to represent the Union Party. See, in 1864, he ran for re-election as a Unionist. Here's James Buchanan. He was president just prior to Lincoln. And here we have William Henry Harrison. He was a Whig. I have Thomas Jefferson here for what's commonly known as the Democratic Republican or Jacksonian Republican Party. It's actually, the correct name is a Republican. But what's interesting about this game is, there are 6 sides of the dice. There are 6 parties that actually won the presidency. You have the Republican, the Democrat, the Union, the Whig, the Federalist, and the Democratic Republican Party. And basically how you play this game is you move your token to a specific state, you roll the dice, and you're placing delegate markers on the board to determine whether you win that state's votes or not. And it can go back and forth, and these markers are in pouches in the box because there are a lot of small pieces that way. Now, if you've ever stayed up late and you're watching and you go vote and then you watch election returns, as I have, probably beginning in the early 70s, you get a concept of what's really interesting, that you could enjoy this game. And I mean, you can play here you want. Here's 1904. And you can play as any party that's within that year. There's also 2 decks of cards with this game. The first deck, of course, is simply the states, primarily. And if you're playing 1904, you remove the states that weren't in the Union in that period. So you set up your deck in that way. The other deck of cards is a party preference deck. Yes, you have to choose which party you're going to run in. You could run in a minor party, which would be almost impossible to win in. But, here's the People's Party, the Green Party, States' Rights Dixiecrats, any party that held any representation. Here's the Union Party, the Federalists, the National Republicans. Here's the Republican Party, a couple from the Republican Party. Now, once again, you kind of build a deck based on who's running in that year. And these are poker-sized cards that we've chosen to do. And so you declare your party, and you're running around as if you're actually campaigning on a board that is a map of the United States. That's what it amounts to. Get you a quick look at this map. It's a quad fold board, and that's what you're playing on. You're putting markers on there. It's an interesting game. And if you enjoy politics like I always have, or used to anyway, I think you'll really get a kick out of this game. You have to compete for your party nomination. You have to go into convention if there's more than 3 of you. You have to decide whether to bolt the party and run as an independent. Of course, there's penalties for doing so. It becomes very difficult to win if you go that route. But you can still do it. And if there's a tie or nobody wins a majority, then it goes to the House of Representatives. Then you've got a set of rules for the House. I've gone painstakingly through our Constitution to determine exactly what the rules are. This, my friends, is an historically accurate game. It can be tough to win sometimes. And it goes through a House rules, convention rules. If you're the party in power running for re-election, you have a slight advantage. If you have multiple people running in the same party, there's a slight disadvantage per turn. But that does play out later as you regain some of the other people's members. You can also convert other people's delegates, convince them that they're going to vote for you. Well, it's just an interesting game. I wanted to bring it up today where we finally got it, so we're actually selling some copies. And you can get a hold of me through RussellJRucker.com, which is my website. And I'll be out at some of these book shows selling this game. And there are some constitutional groups that will also be selling the game, also having it for sale. Well, I just thought I'd let you know there's a very limited number of copies of this game. We spent months developing and working to get this game to market. It is really an exceptional game. And what really, really makes it scream is it is not dated. If you want to play 1789, you can. If you want to play 1820, if you want to play when the Civil War is on during 1864, you can do so. And you can also play a modern game. Now, there are differences in the length of time for a game based on the number of states that are in play for the most part, and of course the number of players. Now we have this set up so you can play up to 8 players at a time. It's an interesting, fascinating game in my view. Of course, I'm the one that developed it. We'll catch you next time. Next week on Constitutional Talks, we'll get back to what we were doing. I just thought this would be an interesting throwback for you. This really is a good, solid game. We'll catch you next time, next week. Bye for now.